to Tookie Talks World.
Please subscribe my channel.
Welcome to Tookie's Bedtime Stories. Tonight's story is an adventure story of Leo and Pip.
Leo was a boy who loved maps. He had maps of faraway lands with winding rivers and towering mountains. And he had maps of the starry sky with glittering constellations that looked like heroes and animals. But his favorite map was the one that showed the Whispering Woods, the forest that began right where his own backyard ended. Everyone said the woods were just ordinary, but Leo had a secret. He had his grandfather's compass. It was made of beautiful old brass, but it didn't point north. Its needle was shaped like a tiny golden feather, and sometimes, just as the sun went down, it would begin to glow. "Follow it when it glows," his grandfather had told him. "That's when the adventure begins." One evening, as the sky was painted in beautiful shades of orange and pink, Leo stood at the edge of his yard. He was already in his pajamas, the ones with little stars all over them. In his hand, the compass's feather needle was pulsing with a soft, warm light, pointing directly into the woods. Leo took a deep breath, the clean air of twilight filling his lungs. "Okay," he whispered to himself, his voice a mix of excitement and a tiny bit of nervousness. He gave one last look at his warm, brightly lit house, then turned and bravely stepped into the Whispering Woods. The moment he passed the first line of trees, the world changed. The air grew cooler and seemed to hum with a gentle magic. The path ahead was lit by soft, glowing patches of moss on the tree trunks, casting everything in a dreamy blue-green light. And the whispers, they were real. It sounded as if the leaves on every branch were sharing the ancient secrets of the wind. The Whispering Woods weren't ordinary at all. At night, they truly woke up. Leo held his compass tight. The golden feather pointed ever deeper into the trees, and so he followed. Soon, he heard a frantic chittering sound up ahead, peeking around a large, mossy boulder. He saw a small, fluffy squirrel trying to pull a very large, shiny acorn from between two tree roots. The squirrel, whose name was Pip, pulled and tugged, but the acorn was completely stuck. "Hello there," Leo said softly, not wanting to frighten him. "Do you need some help?" Pip stopped pulling and looked at Leo, his little black nose twitching. He chittered nervously but didn't run. Leo knelt down and gently wiggled the acorn. With a soft pop, it came free. He offered the acorn to Pip, who sniffed it, then happily took it in his paws. The little squirrel then looked from Leo's kind face to the glowing compass in his other hand. A spark of understanding lit up Pip's eyes. He let out an excited series of chitters and pointed his tiny paw in the very same direction the compass was pointing. Leo had made his first friend in the woods, and it seemed Pip knew exactly where the adventure was leading. Pip scampered ahead, turning back to beckon Leo, and Leo smiled, following his new guide. Together they arrived at the bank of a wide, shallow stream. The water tumbled over smooth, colorful stones, and the sound it made was not just a bubbling, but a soft, gentle laughter. It was the giggling stream. Fireflies danced above its surface like tiny, floating lanterns. The compass, however, pointed directly to the other side. "Oh," Leo said quietly, "how do we get across? I don't want to get my slippers wet." Pip, being a clever squirrel, scurried up and down the bank until he stopped beside a huge fallen log that made a perfect natural bridge. It was covered in soft moss and looked a little bit wobbly. Leo hesitated, but Pip, to show him it was safe, scampered effortlessly across the log and back again, chittering with encouragement. Leo knew that sometimes the first step of an adventure is the bravest one. He took a deep breath, put his arms out for balance, and placed one foot carefully onto the log, then the other. The stream giggled below him as he slowly made his way across, his eyes fixed on Pip, who waited patiently on the other side. When his feet touched the far bank, he felt a thrill of pride. "We did it, Pip!" he giggled. It was then that he heard it. A new sound, carried on the breeze. It was a faint, beautiful melody, like a music box, playing the sweetest, most peaceful song he had ever heard. But it was weak, as if it were fading away. "What's that sound?" Leo wondered aloud. Pip's ears twitched. He nodded his head sadly and pointed his paw deeper into the forest. The compass was pointing that way too. That beautiful fading song was what the compass was looking for. Something was wrong, and Leo knew they had to find the source. They followed the music until they entered a large circular glade. In the very center of the clearing was a small crystal-clear pond, and floating on its surface was the source of the music. It was a single breathtaking flower, whose petals seemed to be made of pure moonlight. The flower pulsed with a soft white light, and with every pulse, it released a note of its magical song. It was the moon petal flower, but its light was flickering, and its song was growing quieter with every moment. Leo looked at the flower in awe. "It's so beautiful," he whispered. "But why is it so quiet?" Pip chittered and pointed from the flower to the pond, and then back to the giggling stream they had just crossed. The moon petal flower sang its song to the pond, and the pond carried that music into the stream, giving it its happy laughter. The flower's song was fading, and soon the woods would fall silent. Leo looked closely at the pond and saw the problem. The small spring that should have been feeding it was blocked by a pile of fallen leaves and pebbles. "The pond is thirsty," Leo realized. "The flower needs more water to sing." Without a second thought, Leo got on his hands and knees beside the blocked spring, and Pip joined him. They worked as a team. Leo carefully pulled away the larger leaves and stones, while Pip, with his quick little paws, busily cleared away the smaller pebbles and dirt. Soon a trickle of fresh, clear water began to flow, getting stronger and stronger until it was happily splashing into the pond once more. As the fresh water touched the roots of the moon petal flower, a wonderful thing happened. Its petals began to glow brighter. The weak flickering stopped, replaced by a steady, beautiful radiance. And its song swelled, growing stronger and clearer, until the entire glade was filled with its joyful, magical music. Leo and Pip watched, mesmerized, as the light from the flower danced on the water, and its song promised that all was well. With a little kindness and a helping hand, they had helped the woods find its music again. It was time to go. Leo stood at the edge of the woods. Pip was there, chittering a happy goodbye. "Goodbye, Pip," Leo waved. "Thank you for the adventure." He looked down at his compass. The golden feather was no longer glowing. Its job was done for the night. Back in his room, Leo tucked himself into his bed. The old brass compass sat on his nightstand, catching the moonlight from his window. His eyes were sleepy, but his heart was full. The world outside his window looked the same, but Leo knew its secret. He knew about the glowing moss, the giggling stream, and the singing moon petal flower. He was no longer just a boy who loved maps. He was an explorer. And as he drifted off to sleep, with the faint, happy song of the woods still echoing in his memory, he smiled. Because he knew that as long as he had his curiosity, his courage, and his grandfather's compass, there would always be another adventure waiting just for him. Good night.
Welcome to Tuki's Bedtime Stories. Tonight's story is about friendship.
In a world buzzing with bells and bustling with kids, it's easy to miss the quiet moments, the chances to do something wonderful. This is a story about one of those small acts. It's about a boy named Jai, his favorite sandwich, and another boy named Sam, who seemed to have forgotten how to smile. It's a story that shows us how sharing something as simple as a lunch can help heal something as big as a lonely heart. This is Jai, and every day for lunch, he had his absolute favorite turkey and cheddar sandwich. But he started to notice someone who didn't seem to have anything to smile about or anything to eat at all. And that's where our story truly begins. The school cafeteria was Jai's happy place. Trays clattered and laughter bounced around the room. Right in the middle of it all was Jai, who loved lunchtime more than anything. Every day, his dad packed him a special sandwich. It wasn't just food, it was a masterpiece. 2 fluffy pieces of bread, thick turkey, sharp cheddar, and a secret smiley face drawn in ketchup on the inside. Just seeing it made Jai feel loved. But for the past week, his eyes kept drifting to a quiet corner, a place the laughter didn't seem to reach. In that corner sat a boy named Sam. Sam was new, a silent shadow in the busy school. At lunchtime, while other kids celebrated their meals, Sam would walk to his corner table, place his empty hands on it, and just sit. He never had a lunchbox. He never had a paper bag. He never had anything. The sight began to chip away at Jai's happiness. He'd see Sam sitting alone, his shoulders slumped, and a strange, sad feeling would prick at Jai's heart. The happy noise of the cafeteria suddenly felt incomplete. There was a quiet sadness coming from that lonely corner, and Jai's favorite sandwich started to taste a little like worry. That night, Jai couldn't shake the image of Sam alone at his table. The feeling had followed him home, settling as a tight knot in his chest. As his dad tucked him in, Jai's voice was small in the dim light. "Dad, there's a boy at school, Sam. At lunch, he never has any food." His dad listened, his face kind. "And how does seeing that make you feel?" Jai searched for the words. "It makes my stomach feel twisty. I'm happy about my lunch, but then I see him with nothing, and my happiness just deflates, like a balloon with a tiny hole." His dad nodded slowly. "That twisty feeling, Jai, That's empathy. It's your heart telling you it sees someone else's sadness. It means you have a very kind heart. Jai was quiet, thinking about that big word, empathy. So that's what it was. It was seeing Sam's empty table and feeling a little empty too. I want to do something, Jai said, his voice a little stronger. But what if he gets mad? What if he thinks I'm weird for offering? It can be scary to reach out, his dad said, but think about this. If you were sitting in that corner, hungry and all alone, what would you wish for more than anything? Jai didn't have to think long. I'd wish for a friend, he whispered, and probably a sandwich. His dad smiled. Well then, it sounds like you know what to do. The next morning, Jai watched his dad make the turkey and cheddar sandwich. But today he did something different. He sliced it right down the middle and wrapped each half separately. He put them in the lunchbox, looked at Jai, and winked. Just in case, he said. The lunch bell rang. Jai's heart hammered against his ribs. He saw Sam heading to his quiet corner, a little gray cloud in a room full of sunshine. Jai opened his lunchbox and saw the 2 wrapped halves. He took a deep breath, clutching one in his hand. Be right back, he mumbled to his friends. His legs felt like jelly as he started walking. Each step felt like a mile. What if he says no? But then he remembered his dad's words and the sad, empty look in Sam's eyes. That memory made his legs feel stronger. He reached the table. Sam was staring down at his hands. Hi, Jai squeaked. Sam looked up, startled. His eyes were wide with confusion. Nobody ever came to his table. I'm Jai, he said, his voice growing steadier. He held out the sandwich. My dad, he accidentally packed way too much for me. I was wondering if you'd help me eat it? Sam just stared at the sandwich, then back at Jai. For a long moment that felt like forever, he didn't say anything. Jai's heart did a nervous flip. But then a tiny smile flickered at the corner of Sam's mouth, like the first ray of sun after a storm. Slowly, he reached out and took the sandwich. Thank you, Sam whispered, his voice raspy. He carefully unwrapped it and saw the ketchup smile peeking out. He took a bite, then another, eating like it was the most delicious thing he had ever tasted. Jai pulled up a chair and unwrapped his own half. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. It was comfortable, filled with the quiet munching of 2 boys sharing a meal. And the sandwich, Jai thought, had never tasted better. That first shared lunch planted a seed. In the days that followed, it grew into a friendship. The next day, Jay offered the second half again. Sam accepted with a much quicker, brighter smile. So, you like soccer? Jay asked. Sam nodded enthusiastically. I love it! I was goalie on my team at my old school. No way! Jay's eyes lit up. We totally need a goalie for recess. After lunch, Jay stood up. Come on, I'll introduce you. Sam hesitated, but Jay reached out a hand. It's okay, he said. They're cool. Together, they walked away from the lonely corner. Recess was transformed. With Sam in the goal, diving and blocking shots, The games were more exciting than ever. Kids who had never noticed Sam before were now cheering his name. The change in him was incredible. His slumped shoulders were gone, and the silence that used to surround him was replaced with laughter. Jay always shared his lunch, and soon other kids did too, offering grapes or a granola bar. A few weeks later, sitting under a tree, Sam spoke quietly. "You know, before you came over, I really hated this school. I felt invisible." He looked at Jay, his voice barely a whisper. "My mom lost her job. That's why there was no lunch." Jay remembered that hollow feeling he'd had. He didn't have big words of comfort. He just said, "I'm glad I can share mine." Sam smiled, a real, happy smile. "Well, she found a new one, and I have a best friend, so things are a lot better." Jay leaned back, feeling a joy so big it felt like his heart might burst. He hadn't just shared his lunch. He had found a friend. One small act did more than fill an empty stomach. It sent a message. "I see you. You matter. You are not alone." For Sam, half a sandwich was a sign of hope. It was the key that unlocked his smile and let everyone see the amazing person who had been hiding in the shadows. Kindness isn't always a grand gesture. It's found in noticing someone who looks sad. It's in the courage to say hello. It's in the choice to share what you have, whether it's a toy, a crayon, or half of your favorite sandwich. In the end, Jay didn't lose anything. He gained a best friend.
So, what can you share today? A smile? A kind word? A seat at your table? Look around you. You have the power to be the Jai in someone else's story. You can be the one who changes everything with one small act of kindness.
Set in a sun-dabbled forest bordering a magnificent royal palace, this is the story of Moki, a mischievous yet kind-hearted monkey with a boundless curiosity and a streak of rebellion. While the forest is rich in spirit, it lacks the luxuries of the nearby royal estate. One morning, while swinging through the treetops, Moki notices something unusual. Royal guards handling the mangoes like precious gems without so much as tasting one. Intrigued and suspicious, Moki's natural curiosity is ignited. He stealthily follows the guards back to the palace, slipping through shadows and swinging past silk curtains. What he sees leaves him amazed. The mangoes are laid out like royal artifacts on a long golden table, admired and revered by the king and his courtiers. Just as the king lifts the ripest, most golden mango to his lips, Moki leaps down from the rafters in a blur. Amid gasps and shouts, he snatches the fruit midair and escapes in a flash, bounding across the rooftops and into the forest. This isn't just a prank or a show of bravado. Moki lives among a troop of forest monkeys, many of whom are weak, sick, or hungry. Moki returns to his troop, and with quiet determination, slices the mango and shares it among the forest monkeys. A blind elder sniffs it and smiles. A baby monkey claps after a bite. It is the only true feast they've had in ages. For Moki, the theft wasn't mischief. It was mercy. The king and his guards eventually track him down, arriving at the forest clearing expecting defiance. But what they find is serenity. Moki sitting still, surrounded by content monkeys licking mango rinds. No tricks in sight. The king watches silently, then unexpectedly smiles. Moved by Moki's actions, the king declares a new royal tradition. A portion of the royal mango harvest will now be delivered to the forest every week. The guards, once enemies, now become friends to the forest dwellers. Moki, ever the trickster, still plays his games. But now even the palace laughs along, knowing that behind every antic lies a heart full of wisdom. As the sun sets, Moki munches on a mango from a tree branch, gazing toward the palace. The king, sipping mango juice in his royal garden, gazes back. Two different worlds, now gently connected by a monkey's mischief and his mighty message.